Hi, this is Myra with Boutique Paint. Today I'm working with one of our stencils. It's the Dragonfly, and we're using it in a little bit different way. I'm doing dotting, and this is just basically making an image with little dots. And so we're using the Dragonfly stencil, and this can be done really with any stencil, and I'll show you. This is our Farm Animal 2 stencil. This didn't turn out quite the way I wanted to in the flowers, and part of that was I'm using DIY paint, and I did not think to put a clear coat on top of this, not wax, but I used the big top just so that the paint would move a little bit better. I think that would have helped. Here I used one of our other stencils, and just instead of filling in, I just did the dots on the outside of the markings of the stencil. So I've already painted this board, and I used, what did I use? Oh, here it is. Fancy Farm Girl from DIY. And then I put the big top clear coat over the top of it. The reason why I wanted a top coat is because this is a mineral-based paint, or if you're using a chalk paint, if you make a mistake, it's harder to undo that mistake. So I figured if I put on the clear coat, that hopefully that will help if there is a mistake made. And, you know, when you're first trying it, there's mistakes. So that being said, I did do like a little sample board. This is my board the first time to see if I like the colors together. This is with the top coat on it. So in a minute, I'll show you the different techniques in dotting. But first, what we're going to do is I'm going to get this stencil lined up where I want it. It could also be, you know, on an angle. This board's not quite big enough to do an angle, so we'll just kind of line it up, eyeball the center. I probably really should mark it because I know myself, my eyeballs aren't what they used to be. If you use a darker base coat, you'll just have to have some good lighting, because what happens is you can't see the lines as well with the pencil. That being said, when I did the first one, I did use the pen that disappears, the disappearing ink, and hopefully this is, yeah. And that worked really well. If you're doing really intricate little lines and whatnot, it's a little bit, you know, it leaves kind of a thicker line. So I'm using a mechanical pencil, and I'm kind of drawing all over the place here and just doing the outline. And when it's all dry, you can go ahead and erase the pencil lines that are showing. One video I watched on the dotting, they used the type of eraser that you need, and so it kind of got into the nooks and crannies once the paint was on it. I don't know if I have my purple pen here. I don't see it. I was going to show you what it would look like to use it, but I don't have it handy. And I don't know where I just left off. So on, sound like somebody was coming in. You could also use one of these stencils that doesn't have the intricate inside, And basically you could, you know, just dot it any old way you want. You could do it kind of gradient where you're starting maybe with a darker color and going to a lighter color, just adding a little bit more white to your base color as you go. Or you could, in the opposite, you know, add blacks if it's a lighter color, or a gray just to darken it up. Whites are sometimes easier to get to blend blend the colors you want. Black's a little tricky because it's so dark. Sometimes, you know, you start out and you're like, oh, it'll take this much. You just got to start with just a little bit of the black and then add slowly to it. So I think I got everything. Nope, I missed one little spot. There we go. All right. So the nice thing about this color, oh, no, keep missing spots. The nice thing about this color for my base is I can see it with the pencil lines. That wasn't the one I missed. This is the one I missed. All right. Now do we have it? Okay, that side looks good. That side, okay. I think we're good. All right. Set the stencil aside. And I chose 3 colors that I thought would look good together. And that would look also good with the green. And I'm going to, I already did a little bit, but I mixed a little bit of the top coat in to the paint. And I only did this because this is a flat paint. And I thought, well, it probably, and you can see the paint's kind of thick. That's just the nature of this paint, or this color, I should say, because it's so highly pigmented that it has a tendency to be thick, which I love when I'm painting, because if it's, you know, you get it on and it's maybe a little too thick, you can just hit it with water and you're good to go. Just spray it. And yeah, just thins it up really nicely. I don't want to poke that back in there. So I'm just going to add a little bit of the top coat. Mix that up. Also, if your paint's kind of thick, depending, as long as it's water-based, you can always add water to the paint. You don't want it super thin, but you also don't want it super thick. It's too gloppy then to really make a nice dot. Okay, so what you usually use for a dotting tool is this, and I guess this is used for doing nails in the salon, maybe for doing flowers, I don't know. But I got this at the dollar store, and it was actually under the crafts because so many people are using these for dotting. The other things you could use, though, is the end of a paintbrush, a toothpick if you want something really tiny, maybe a fatter, different shape toothpick. I used a wooden match, and that's square, and I thought, well, it'll maybe make a square. It doesn't. It makes a round also. You can also use a Q-tip. You could take the cotton off of it, or you can just use the cotton and make dots. I even grabbed one of those flossers, and I thought, well, that's, you know, that would make little teeny tiny dots. And then this was also at the dollar store, which is just like a poker. I don't know what this is used for, honestly. I just thought it would be great for putting holes in clay work. So I got that. So I'm going to go ahead and use my $1, no, let's see, it's $1.25 now tool. And basically what you're going to do is you're going to dip the end. I get this so you can see it. You're going to dip the end into the paint. And you're going to want to go straight down and get the paint. And then you're going to just go straight down. Now I'll be doing it kind of at an angle just so that you can see. You can also, you know, do the edge and then use the edge. That also works. And that's how I'm going to be doing it. It's just, you know, if you roll it, then you won't get the paint quite right. If you want to make your dots get smaller, then you start out with your paint. I got a little bit much on there. And you make it your first dot, and then you just kind of do your dots after that, and they get smaller. You can also do this in the yellow. Do your dot. And then you can take your smaller one, get a little bit of paint on it. I don't have a great steady hand, but you just drag the paint so that you can make it kind of have a little bit of a tail. So it gives you an option as far as maybe adding a different element to your dotting. And that's pretty much the basics of dotting. I'm sure there's a ton of other techniques and whatnot out there, but for what I'm doing today, it's mostly just the dots. So what I did to start with is I picked the color that I wanted to go around the outside with. I'm gonna grab my sample board. And you can see that I used pink for the outside on that one. So I think I'm going to use the darker blue on this one. And I'm just going to go where the pencil mark is. And if you don't want smaller, that's not going to work. I'm left-handed, so, and I always, actually I'm both. And so I put everything on this side and then I'm reaching across. You really want to be adding paint each time. Because like on the sample, if you don't, then it gets smaller with each dot. Now the reason why I put the clear coat on, and I'm going right on top of the line for the first row. The reason why I put the top coat on is, say I've put one too close to another and I don't like it, then you can take a Q-tip, wet Q-tip, and kind of get in there and remove it. If it was just like the chalk paint or like this, the DIY paint, which is the mineral based paint, if I do that, it would just kind of make a mess. It's kind of tight in there. So because the lines are kind of tight, I'm just kind of going a little bit below it. And if I was doing this without the camera, I would probably put the paint right here. So I'm not kind of going, but this would, I did the llama last night when I was watching TV. And it's just, if you're one of those people like myself, I've gotten a little bit better, but it used to be, I couldn't just sit and watch TV. Could not do it. I had to be doing something. And every now and then I still like to be doing something. So I was doing this last night in front of the TV, and very relaxing. Oh, see? Right there. I got in there. Hopefully that's not blurring. I double dotted basically. So I'm going to take my Q-tip, and I don't have any water. So I'm just going to spray. Got my spray bottle. And I'm gonna just, where did I do it? Right there? Yeah. Just gonna get in there and clean it up. Yep, I'm gonna clean up both of them, obviously, because I'm making a mess out of both of them. All right, now I made a mess out of 2 of them, 3 of them. Well, this is a good way to show you what not to do. You can see it cleans up pretty easily. There we go. That's much better. Okay. Here we go again. Let's see. I'm gonna, and every now and then, just take a baby wipe or a wet paper towel, clean off your tip. And let's start over. And what you can do too is if you feel like you need just a kind of a small one, you could go in there with the other end. If you feel like you don't have enough room. Let's see. Let's do gold. We do gold in the center. I think that's what we're going to do. So I'm going to do this a little bit, a smidge wider or further apart so that I can go in and put, that's way over. Well, that's okay. Smaller dots in between of a different color, which I'll probably use that one right there. And I ended up getting closer as we got to the top. That's all right. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to mix this up a little bit because it looks like it either separated or I just didn't get it mixed very well on that one edge. And I mixed up way more paint than I would need, because it really doesn't take much. If you're using a paint that already, like an acrylic paint, something that's already got like a built-in top coat, you don't have to do any of the steps that I had showed you. I keep kind of going this way when I'm dotting. Can't talk and work at the same time today. And I'm okay with these ones overlapping a little bit. It's kind of hard to even see that they are. And then I think I'll go back to the yellow, or the kind of mustardy color, which is Queen Bee. And I'm just going to pick a section now. Oh, I see what I did on that last one. I did a little different. So I go in here and just kind of go along one of the lines. Oop, that was a big dot. And just kind of pick and choose. I realized when I did this one, I did my pink around the outside, and then then I did half of my lines in a different color. But just play with it, just have fun. I mean, there's no really right or wrong way to do it. In some of the tighter areas, you can once again flip your daughter. What I was doing though, when I was doing this, is once you do it on one side, then come over and do your other side mirrored. It's kind of hard to see. Some of these areas are a little tighter. I didn't put a blue dot. I'm gonna go ahead and do that. I missed one right there. So for a bigger dot, like you might want one there, or you know, have this one did kind of slowly get smaller. Let's see if I can repeat that. Yeah, that looks good. This one's definitely more tapered. Just put one big one there. I'm gonna put a bigger one here. But if you kind of mirror at the same time, then it's easier as you're filling in to remember what you're, see what you're doing, I guess. Okay, I did that, so I'm going to come over here and do this. And then once you get it more filled in, and it's a little harder to see exactly where your fill-ins are. I think I want a dot there. And then I think I wanted, oh, my cord fell and it scared me. I thought something was running across the floor. I think I'll do the similar in the head here. The gold again. Then I think I'm going to use the smaller. Well, let's see how it works. Is that too small? No, that's not too small. I'm just going to go around. I'm going to kind of fill it in between the dots. I'm going to put a blue, the lighter blue. So I think I'm done. I keep seeing a spot here or a spot there that I could add things to. Maybe a little bit here. I could add some more little yellow, because I see lines where there's nothing. Oops. It's hard to do when it's at an angle. But I think I'll stop there with this part of it. I might embellish the edges a little bit, maybe put a little decrepit dust around it. I'm not sure yet. On this one I did I did dots around it just because I was playing. You could certainly do that, or you could do, you know, these little tails. You could add, you know, make them, just do corners where you do one big one and then dot it out little ones. Be creative with it, make it yours. But I thought it was definitely a fun project. Oh, I see one more that I missed. I could sit here and probably do this for the rest of the day and be seeing spots that I missed. Anyway, so I'm not exactly sure what I want to do with the rest of it, but I do like the way it turns out, and I might just leave it the way it is. But we'll see. Anyway, if you have any questions about any of the products I used, you can go to our website at www.boutiquepaint.com. And I thank you so much for joining me. Bye.